It's important to know that you cannot polish out every imperfection in your home. Some problems cannot and should not be taken away by just a little bit of elbow grease. Many states now require the seller of a property to offer written disclosures about any unseen problems affecting the property and the neighborhood. Once you have a potential buyer, you are obligated to disclose any major problems that might affect the property's value. A California property seller needs to provide these disclosures to the prospective buyer as soon as practical before transfer of title. Providing these disclosures to serious potential buyers as soon as possible decreases the likelihood of a buyer canceling the offer later due to information found in the disclosures. Once you have a potential buyer, you are obligated to disclose any major problems that might affect the property's value. It seems counterproductive to tell a potential buyer things that are wrong with your home, especially so close to the sale. But this transparency will create a stronger, more trustworthy relationship with the buyer. It also will keep you out of potential litigation or, in some serious cases, criminal charges in the future. Disclosing negative items actually helps you sell your home. Here is a story that proves the point. A friend told a story that his friend was selling a truck that was about 20 years old. He showed it to a prospective buyer. The truck was in good shape for a vehicle with 200,000 miles on it, but it had a few problems. The seller did not want to have to worry about the buyer complaining after the sale, even if that meant not selling the truck. As soon as he met the buyer, the friend immediately showed him all the things wrong with the truck. The passenger door window doesn't roll up or down. He said, "Look at the driver's side door. The hinge is a little weird, and it doesn't always shut completely." When you accelerate, you have to keep steady pressure on the accelerator, or otherwise the truck may jump out of gear and then kick back into gear. The entire truck will jerk forward, and the story went on and on. But the buyer ate it up. He bought it, and he bought it on the spot. He knew that most 20-year-old trucks have problems. He also figured that a seller who was upfront about the problems wouldn't be hiding any problems from him. Furthermore, the friend said that he was selling it for 30% more than the fair price he had paid a used car dealer just a year before. He had done some work on the truck, but it was still no bargain. The same strategy works for selling a home. Most buyers are not stupid. They know that if they buy an older home, it will have some problems. The more forthcoming you are about these potential problems, the more relaxed they will become about buying your house. If you know or if you see something, say something. The problems you must report are the ones that are obvious: leaky pipes, rotting wood, basement flooring, flooding. Basically, anything about your property that has bothered you or that you know will bother the new residents. You also cannot be cavalier about the unknown issues. And some scenarios, turning a blind eye could get you into some hot water. Here are some common disclosure requirements, and some of these vary by state and location. Any significant defects regarding walls, ceilings, floors, roofs, windows, doors, foundations, fences, driveways, plumbing, and electrical systems. Lack of compliance with child safety standards, additions or modifications to any room in the house. Use of hazardous substances on the property, zoning violations, regular neighborhood noise disturbances, any features on the property shared with neighbors. Damage to the property from fire, earthquake, floods, or landslides, deaths on properties within 3 years, the location of any publicly registered sex offenders, or at least ensuring that the buyers have knowledge of the sex offender. It is also important to contact your city planning department to make sure your property is up to date with all local ordinances. Overlooking issues such as misplaced land borders or an unregulated build can scare prospective buyers, which is the last thing you want on the eve of the sale. Considering all the local disclosures that may fall through the cracks, getting an inspector or an inspection in advance may also give the upper hand when negotiating with the prospective buyer. There will be no last minute surprises or unfounded demands that set the sale off. Of course, some disclosures are required in all 50 states. The use of lead-based paints or other hazardous materials can be harmful to home inhabitants, especially young children. If any of these materials have been used in your home, the buyer needs to know. The Residential Lead-Based Paint Hazard Reduction Act of 1992 states that if you were selling a home built before 1978, you must comply with certain procedures. When in doubt, disclose. The best way to ensure no repercussions of liability from lack of disclosure is to disclose any known issues. However, just because you've disclosed a problem doesn't mean the problem is yours. The buyer may negotiate potential costs of renovations into the deal. For example, if the cost to get the pipes fixed was appraised at $5,000, subtract the amount from the sale price. The buyer can use the savings to get the work done themselves. Some eager buyers may even look the other way on a minor issue that will not affect the quality of living in order to get the deal done as soon as possible.